here we are, old media, new media, old media, new media. I mean, you're a little taller than I am. You're certainly younger than I am. I mean, I wonder what the other differences are. And, you know, do I have a chance with guys like you around?
Well, definitely not better looking, I'd say. So,
all right.
You know,
well, okay. Now I can't ask tough questions.
One of the things that I've really just focused on is looking for opportunity and looking for things that are very interesting to me. And I find that fixing local media or finding a way to improve local media is really at the core of what I want to do.
But aren't you the guy? You're the guy's killing us, right? You're the guy, because we'll see a little bit later. There's a room full of also geniuses, young guys sitting around in front of their computer screens, figuring out how to kill the news. That's the view that the old media often takes.
I'd say that we probably are doing some damage. Definitely not killing you guys quite yet. And I think that it isn't too late for us to work together. There's so much experience that old media brings to the table as far as understanding what good content is, and that's something that new media doesn't really understand.
Can you give me the elevator pitch?
Sure. So Fwix is real-time local news. What we do is we aggregate content from thousands of sources across the country and the globe. And what we do is we look at news that's being published by independent bloggers and large media organizations. We filter that content down to what's most interesting. And then we syndicate this content out to mobile devices, to publishing partners, inclusive of the New York Times Company, and also to our main website.
Your folks were both sort of technologists. Your dad was a technologist, right?
My mother's not a technologist, actually. My mother is a published author, and she actually just wrote a book review for the Chronicle on Sunday. And
so she doesn't want the old media to die.
Definitely not. Yeah. She's the one that's always yelling at me on the phone while my dad's saying kill old media, and my mom's saying, wait, no, you need to work with old media.
Sounds like an interesting time. Family dinners are probably pretty interesting for you. So when you sell this Fwix for $100 million or $200 million or $1 billion,
thanks for the starting price. I mean,
well, but somebody's going to set the price. Somebody's going to set the price. So you sell it for a gazillion dollars, you know, and you can be an entrepreneur forever after that. But what are you going to do with? I mean, what's the first big toy you're going to buy?
Whenever I think about material objects and, you know, what toy could I potentially buy or what place could I possibly go in the world, I just come back to the same exact premise of how do I build something great, or how do I take something from nothing and turn it into a real project.
You're hiding. There's a hot tub on the roof and a
There are a lot of perks of working at Fwix. I will say that.
What's the biggest perk?
The biggest one is definitely the hot tub on the roof. That's a major perk.
But you guys go up there during the day? You haven't used it?
We've used it a couple times, but you know, whenever you join a startup, you always get all these perks of, oh sweet, they have a TV in the office, they have an Xbox, or they have a hot tub on the roof, they have a barbecue, they go out for drinks every once in a while. This sounds like pretty fun. And then when you get into the thick of it and start working, none of those perks ever actually get used.
So Fwix, of course, I'm sure will be a great success, but let's say it isn't. Mm-hmm. What do you imagine you would do next?
I think that what I would probably do next, if this didn't work out, which I think there's probably a very, very high likelihood that it will work out, is work with another group of people on a new project. Is that really keep at it. Persistence is really what is the key to success.
What kind of project?
Pretty much anything media related. I'm very interested in media, very interested in news. That's really what I want to work on long term. And I think that news is sort of going away as a form of communication between us, is that, you know, it's becoming more diluted, and it's also not really as good as it used to be, and there isn't much funding behind journalism anymore. So I really want to repair this industry as much as I can, or help this industry as much as I can.
I see in your literature you're talking about your technology, mm-hmm. and all this proprietary technology, which is, you know, is what makes us a little spooked, those of us who don't understand it. But so you got all this algorithm. I remember once asking Demand Media, so like how much of your process mm-hmm. is human? And there was a long silence. They said 20%. So how much of your process is human?
I'd say about 20% also. Demand Media, though, I don't really like being put in the same bucket as Demand Media, because I think we're totally different businesses. Demand Media does a very, very good job of using algorithms to figure out what to write. We do a very good job of using algorithms to figure out what to show of what's already been written.
You've got a map up there with all the places where you're operating, like mm-hmm. 300 places, is that right?
It's about 200 now.
200 places, all right. Yeah, 200 places. They don't all have 500 blogs each, but let's say they have hundreds of blogs. So you got one guy who basically thumbs up, thumbs down on, I can't do the math, you're the genius, so you can do the math, but 200 locations 200 at least blogs in each location.
The one guy that we have, which is Joe, and Joe Payne does a great job of this, is really looking at blogs and filtering through these sources, is, you know, we think that the best way to improve the news industry in local areas, specifically local news, is to minimize editorial cost. Ultimately, there will need to be some level of human intervention, but definitely less level of human intervention than before.
Some level of human intervention. Okay. That just sounds a little scary to me. Can you reassure me at all about that?
So there is no way, in my opinion, that the news industry can survive without an editor. There's really no way. And
but
algorithms
one editor.
Right. Algorithms
all.
will never be good enough to filter everything, but they will be good at reducing the need for humans to constantly decide what should be on the front page.
Okay, well, I'd like to thank Darian Shirazi for explaining to us the future of potential human intervention in technology. Seriously, Darian, thanks a lot. It was great insight into what tech geniuses are doing these days.
Thanks, Phil.